Hello everyone and welcome to the third installment in my favourites of 2021 series where I run through each and every category listing my favourite products. Today is the turn of finishing and setting powders. So as per usual, I will go through my ultimate favourite products, and if that ultimate favourite is not affordable or cruelty free, I'll also give you my favourites in those categories as well. So let's get straight into it. If you're new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new videos to YouTube every single week. I'm also on Instagram if you fancy checking me out over there. And I'd really appreciate it if by the end of this video you found it helpful or entertaining in some way. You click on that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss any more videos in this series. Okay, let's jump straight into loose setting powders. Now, loose setting powders are my preference over pressed setting powders because pressed setting powders generally offer a little bit of extra coverage for the skin, and I prefer to get my coverage from my foundation and not my setting powder. That may not be your preference, in which case, if you do want a little bit of extra coverage, a pressed powder is probably the way to go rather than a loose powder. I will cover pressed powders in just a second though. So my favourite loose setting powder is actually a little bit of a newbie for me. I've only been testing this out for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And it is out of this world. This makes my skin look absolutely flawless, but does not look like powder on my skin. It just looks like I haven't powdered at all, but it takes away the shine. It doesn't allow the shine to come through, but it doesn't make my skin dry. How is that? It's just a little bit of wizardry. I have one of my beautiful Pampered Wolf Pack members to thank for allowing me to try this powder because they actually contacted the Nakia Joy Cosmetics team and actually introduced them to my channel and recommended me for their PR list. I will be forever grateful. My ultimate favourite loose setting powder goes to the Nakia Joy Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder. Now, you heard me right, this does say that this is a finishing powder, and I would concur. I use this as both a setting and a finishing powder. It works as both. It is definitely worth the wait in the shipping. This is so finely milled, it's just beautiful. You can dispense a little bit of the powder in the lid, get a large powder brush, really swirl that in, knock off the excess, and just dot this in the areas that you just want to take down that shine, or buff it into the skin over the top of your bronzer or your blush to just make everything seamless and one with the skin. Like I said, multi-purpose. This is so beautiful. It's got a slight scent of vanilla in here. You all know I hate a vanilla scent. This does not offend me. It's very, very subtle and it disappears immediately as soon as it hits the skin. I think it's vanilla anyway. If somebody knows different to me, if I'm completely wrong, please do let me know. By applying this powder over the areas that get a little bit shinier throughout the day, this just completely airbrushes my skin. It just glides over my texture, it glides over my pores, and although this is slightly mattifying, it allows the natural luminosity of the skin to poke through, whilst also controlling the amount of shine that you get. So it's, like I said, bit of wizardry in a jar. So my ultimate favourite is cruelty free, but it definitely can't be classed as affordable. So let's have a look at my affordable favourite, which has been my affordable favourite for quite some time. Now this is also a cruelty free favourite as well. So not only affordable, but also cruelty free. It's from number 7 and it's the Perfect Light Loose Powder in Translucent. I am not sure if they're having distribution issues with this or whether this is going to be discontinued, but a lot of places are out of stock. So I'm just pre-warning you that there may be a discontinuation on the horizon. I'm just not quite sure. This is lovely though. The one thing I will say about this is it's not as good as the Nakia Joy Cosmetics for keeping my shine at bay, I do need to powder my T-zone a couple of times throughout the day with this, but for an affordable powder, this is so finely milled. It's just beautiful quality. You would never know that it was from an affordable brand. Now, it is on the higher end of an affordable brand, I'll give you that, but it's still a stunning powder. This also airbrushes my skin. It doesn't sink into my dryness. It also doesn't dry out my skin either, which is a bonus for me because my skin is all types of stuff. I have oilier areas, I have drier areas, I have normal areas, and I have a lot of dry patches as well. And yeah, sometimes those dry patches get a little oily throughout the day. Honestly, my skin is so greedy. It has to have absolutely everything. And this powder is great for all of those things. So it's definitely multi-purpose, but like I said, not as good at holding that shine at bay than the Nakia Joy Cosmetics. So second place. Let's move on to pressed powders. So these are those powders that are going to add a little bit of extra coverage, and they're also those powders that are more convenient because you can put these in your handbag and you can get them out as the day goes on and just touch up your makeup, whereas it's a little bit more difficult to do that with a loose powder without getting into a little bit of a mess. So my ultimate favorite, there are two of these. I can't make up my mind because they're really good for different things. But I think my ultimate favorite that just wins is from MAC. This is the MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation. And very lightly, this is an amazing pressed powder. My shade is NC20 and it's just lovely. You do get a little powder puff in the bottom. It's actually a sponge, not a powder puff. I don't use this. I tend to use my finger. I find that that's a little bit of a better way when I'm out and about rather than the sponge. If you use the sponge, you tend to get a little bit more than you require on the skin, and I like a very light dusting of powder. So, like I said, tend to use my fingers. But when I'm using this, when I'm applying my makeup, I either use a very fluffy brush, so not to get too much coverage, or I use a damp or even a dry sponge. So just tap it in slightly, don't swipe, and then dab that over the area. But my favorite method is just the fluffy brush because you don't get too much coverage, you get the right amount. This does not look like powder on my skin. I can apply this all over if I need a little bit of extra coverage. It sinks into the skin, it just melts into the skin. It's more of a creamy powder rather than a really dry, flaky powder. So that being said, it also doesn't dry out my skin either. I actually haven't used this as an all-over foundation before. I will try this over Christmas as an all-over foundation. I feel like I really should, as, you know, powder plus foundation. Perhaps should do that. So I did say that there was a second contender for my ultimate favourite, and that the MAC Studio Fix just pipped my second favourite to the post, which is quite strange because I find that my second ultimate favourite is actually more suitable for more areas on the skin. I would use it for my face. I would use it also for my under eyes and my neck, whereas I wouldn't use the MAC Studio Fix for underneath my eye. If I'd already set my under eyes and there was a slight bit of discoloration poking through from my under eye circles, I would tap a tiny bit of the Studio Fix over the top. But generally, I wouldn't set concealer using this powder, whereas my second choice, I will quite often do that. So my second ultimate favorite goes to Charlotte Tilbury. Where are you? Please get in focus. There we go. She likes to shine. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. Very difficult to say. I am in the shade 1, which is fair. This just does everything. It airbrushes, it smooths, it glides over my texture, it doesn't sit in any dryness, it also doesn't dry out my skin either, and like I said, suitable for setting my under eyes. So it's a stunning, stunning powder. Unlike the MAC Studio Fix, this is not a foundation, whereas this can be used as a foundation. This is just a setting slash finishing powder. So that's why I wanted to put them both in this video. They both are fantastic in their own rights at doing different things, but they're both amazing. So both of these items can't be classed as cruelty-free, and they're definitely not in the affordable range. So my affordable and cruelty-free option is also from number 7. And I am going to have to put a picture up here for you because I ran out of my pressed powder a long time ago, and then it went viral on TikTok, and I've not been able to get my hands on it ever since. So I keep looking because it's beautiful, and a lot of people say that it is a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder. Now, I can't comment on that because when I tried that powder way back when and loved it, absolutely loved it, I hadn't tried the Charlotte Tilbury powder, and without testing them out side by side, and like I said, I can't get my hands on it now, I can't say whether I feel like it's a dupe or not, but plenty of people say that it is. So it's beautiful. It does exactly what it says it's going to do. It really does airbrush. It is silky smooth and soft. It's like satin on the skin. It's gorgeous. Just like the loose setting powder from number 7, I don't feel like it holds back my shine as well as some of the higher end products, but it is stunning all the same. Moving on to under eye powder, I know I said you could set the under eyes using the Airbrush Flawless finish from Charlotte Tilbury. It is beautiful, but I don't reach for that when I am setting my under eyes. You all know what's coming. I'm not going to go on about this product because I feel like it's been in so many videos this year. It's just amazing. This was in the top spot last year. It's in the top spot this year. It's probably going to be in the top spot next year. It's from Pat McGrath Labs, and it is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. And no matter how many times I talk about this product, I can never remember the full name of it. It is so long. So this comes in different shades, but I have the shade Light, which looks white and does brighten the under eye area. If you have a deeper skin tone than mine, do not go for this one. Go for one of the deeper shades. This just airbrushes. This doesn't overly dry my under eyes. If I add too much of this at once, it may crinkle my under eyes as if it's dried them out, but within around about 30 seconds to a minute, that's settled. And all I need to do is just brush away any excess and it looks flawless. So the Pat McGrath powder cannot be classed as cruelty-free, although they do say that they don't test on animals. There aren't enough checks that have been done to verify that. So I can't say that this is cruelty-free, and it's definitely not affordable. So let's move on to the affordable cruelty-free option, which will definitely be my number 7 pressed powder. But because nobody can get their hands on that, I do want to mention another product as well, which is great value for the amount that you pay. So this is from Essence. What is going on with my camera today? Honestly, there we go. She's in focus. Oh no, she's not. What on earth is going on? This is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. I think that's as long as she wants to be in focus. This is a lovely powder. You do have to be careful how much of this you apply under the eye because it will be drying underneath the eye, but it does brighten and it does set. So they are the things that I can definitely say that this does. Now, although I wanted to provide you with an affordable cruelty-free option, I am not going to lie, I never reach for this. Obviously, I've used this over the last couple of weeks to test it out a little bit because I knew I was going to be doing this video, and it holds up to the claims that it makes. It definitely does what it says it's going to do. However, I don't reach for it because I have something that in my opinion is 10 times better than this. So this is worth the extra splurge. Now I know that not everybody can afford to push the boat out for an under eye powder, but if you are going to treat yourself to anything during this video, this would be the product that I would say push the boat out on. Let's finish off this video with finishing powders, and I'm going to keep it quite short and simple because I've already spoken about one of my favourite finishing powders, which is the Nakia Joy Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder. which if I want to tone down anything that's dewy or radiant, I will use this powder without hindering the luminosity of my skin. This is absolutely amazing. But I want to mention my other ultimate favorite. This is on par with this, so this isn't just the affordable cruelty-free version. This is on the same level. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. Now this does have a slight sheen to it, so it does have the tiniest bit of sparkle in here. Now you're not going to notice it on the skin if you use it properly as a finishing powder, and what I mean by that is have your bronzer and your blush already on your skin and then really buff this into the skin, molding and melting all those other powder products together. This is the most stunning finishing powder that you will ever try. It is amazing. It really, really is. So there are different shades of this, I believe, are there? Yes, I have the shade Light. I adore this. The quality of this product is unbelievable, completely unreal. This is the product that I reach for most often when I'm wanting to buff everything together and make everything look skin-like and seamless. And it's so affordable and cruelty-free. So that's it for my favourite finishing and setting powders of 2021. Don't forget to list your favourite finishing and setting powders in the comment section below. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.